morning. So the other day I walked out to my car and realized at some point between Home Depot, Walmart, all the errands I was running, somebody came out and they hit my fucking car with something. So we're going to use this time, because this is my vehicle, to repair this little dent. You can see it's pretty deep, but luckily it's not over the crown. And yeah, I'm going to use this voiceover time to actually, show you what I'm doing. First, you're going to need to get yourself some sort of paint stripper like this and basically just clear the area off. And then once you get it all clear, you might have a little bit of paint left in the bottom of the dent. Take a belt file or some sandpaper, get the rest of the paint out. And then this is a Harbor Freight stud welder. It's not that serious. Just make sure you don't hold it too long so you don't start a fire on the inside. Make sure it's nice and adhered and welded on. And it does come with a stud puller, so you're just going to use that to get the stud pulled out. You can use it by hand first without actually using the hammer portion. And then really get in there and kind of hammer it out a little bit to get the last little bit flat and straight. Then you'll cut it off with a pair of dikes. It'll leave you with a little nipple, so you're going to want to use a flat disc or a grinder and grind it nice and smooth. And then what I like to do is just protect the areas around it. Since I'm not disassembling this car, I'm just getting it in primer. So I use what's called gaffer's tape. It's a pretty thick tape, and it just protects, especially that blackout tape underneath. Since I don't have a lot left, I just used it on the bottom. But I did make sure to put it on the edge of the paint. Same with this yellow tape. It's on the edge of the paint, because I don't want to go underneath the lip. So when I paint this, I will make sure I can cover all the primer where it was. Use some 80 grit on your DA and sand it out nice and smooth. Then use some guide coat, then some 180, because we're only going to be using polyester filler on this. Blow it off, make a nice clean surface. I'm not sponsored by U-Pull, but this is available at O'Reilly's, and it is a fantastic product. It's a 2-part product. Make sure you add a little bit of paper underneath if it is a higher surface, because it might drip down. You can see right there, I got some on the paper. And you can see, like I said, there's that little lip there, so I don't sand too far down into the jam. Add a little more dry guide coat, because I like dry guide coat. A lot of people talk crap on it. I think it does the best work, especially around body work and sanding with a lower grit. You take some 180 on your DA, just kind of flatten it out a little bit before you hand block with that same 180. Use guide coat as many times as you need to. Keep guide coating, keep sanding until you feel like it's right. There's no rush to perfection. Once you get down to a point where you feel like you might have gone too far, that's probably far enough. Obviously, you saw me clean up my mess, blow it all off. Then we're going to start masking for primer. This is some spray wax and grease remover. Check your local area, see if you can actually use that. Then we just use tape and tape off the small area around it. And basically, you're just lining off the initial area where you're going to stick the paper to, because you know if the tape sticks, the tape will stick to the tape. And then bop, 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 bop. It's all masked off. Go ahead and spray some primer on there. Again, this car needs body work. I ran out of white primer, so I went back over it with gray primer, and then I'm going to peel it while it's still wet. Because when it's still wet, the primer edges will roll over a little bit, and it'll look a little bit softer while it's on the car before I get it into paint. On top of that, it makes it a little easier to block out. So, there you go. Peel off all that masking paper. Peel off the last couple strips of tape. And then feel free to inspect your work. I like to do it when it's still shiny, because then it shows me how good of a job I actually did. And this was my first attempt at a longer form repair style content. If you like this, ask me questions, let me know what you want to see, and I'd be happy to make more. If you're here on the tube, you got to see the whole thing. If you're on the talk, you didn't. And as always, I love each and every one of you guys, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to y'all later.